Good evening.
Bad man.
Evening. You alright, mate?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Mate,
Very.
I, I've been looking forward to this interview with you for weeks. Weeks. It's been a long time coming.
I know. We've put it in like what, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks.
Yeah, mate, the good things come to those who wait, is
Mm.
what they say. So welcome to the Gunman Insta Live. We're a platform that helps fighters like yourselves share their journey with the fight fans so that they can get a better understanding of the fight game. But first and foremost, a few weeks ago, one of the biggest heavyweight fights, a scintillating summer clash with Will All Night Long, was announced, with the winner of your fight between him and yourself going on to have the opportunity to be sponsored in the pro ranks.
Hmm.
It's a fight that salivates the fans. So it seemed the most uh, pressing point and place to start in this interview. So why Will All Night Long? Why have you called this man out when everyone else is running from him?
Exactly that. He's the most avoided guy in my category of boxing. And
Yeah,
to be the best, you have to beat the best. And I'm not saying he is the best because he's not been in the ring with me yet. But all I'm saying is, like, to get your name out there and to get the biggest amount of exposure and to interest the fans and interest the sponsors and interest the pro promoters, you need to fight big names. No one pays tickets for you to walk all over a journeyman. Like, it just, no one wants to come. And for me, my whole life in boxing, when I sell tickets to my friends, my family, people that have actually come and spent their well-earned money to come watch me box, I want them to turn up and think, Kai might actually lose tonight. Like, I don't want them to turn up and think, oh, he's just going to walk all over a journeyman for 4 rounds, 5 rounds, and then Kai's record's just going to go up again. I want my fans to turn up and think, oh, Kai might actually lose tonight. Like, I want my mum and dad to stand there and go, my son might get knocked out. Because when I win, like, it just makes it even better. Like, do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
Will is that guy on Instagram. Will is that guy in the boxing world at the moment who's not pro.
yeah.
But if beating him, that's a big statement.
Yeah.
Big statement.
So for the guys that don't know, and I always like to refer to the people, you and I know that you know the fight game and the industry well, but for the guys that don't know, Kai impressively won his last fight, which I was commentating on, and he suddenly called out one of the guys who is known as probably the baddest guy in unlicensed white collar boxing as a heavyweight, Will All Night Long. That fight has just been made. The date is still yet to be announced, but everyone is running from this guy. He had a knockout reel. He's got a knockout reel that's just disgusting, to be honest with you. He absolutely malfunctioned a couple of his opponents. I mean, one of his knockouts went viral, went on TalkSport, went on ESPN. Lennox Lewis posted it. This guy is feared, and Kai Forder has called him out, and he's gone head on for this guy, and everyone else is running. So massive respect to you for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge respect. And I love the way you say that you want to fight the best. If you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And I love that mindset. Listen, you're going to be a heavy under. Here we go. Guess what time it is? Gunman Insta Live time. Guest today, ferocious, hard-hitting heavyweight Kai Forder. Should be really interesting, this one. This guy's journey is inspirational, to say the least. We'll just wait for him to join us. But yeah, this guy, his story is just not one to miss out on. It is unbelievable, the journey this guy has been on. Absolutely fantastic. So let's find out more about him. Let's find out what his plans are. Let's get him on this live. Surely. Yes. Go man, love that. Here he comes. Yes.
Good evening.
Bad man.
Good evening. You alright, mate?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Mate,
Very
I've been looking forward to this interview with you for weeks. Weeks. It's been a long time coming.
I know. We've put it in like, what, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks?
Yeah, mate, the good things come to those who wait, is what they say. So welcome to the Gunman Insta Live. We're a platform that helps fighters like yourselves share their journey with the fight fans so that they can get a better understanding of the fight game. But first and foremost, a few weeks ago, one of the biggest heavyweight fights, a scintillating summer clash with Will All Night Long, was announced, with the winner of your fight between him and yourself going on to have the opportunity to be sponsored in the pro ranks. It's a fight that salivates the fans. So it seemed the most pressing point and place to start in this interview. So why Will All Night Long? Why have you called this man out when everyone else is running from him?
Exactly that. He's the most avoided guy in my category of boxing. And to be the best, you have to beat the best. And I'm not saying he is the best because he's not been in the ring with me yet. But all I'm saying is, like, to get your name out there and to get the biggest amount of exposure and to interest the fans and interest the sponsors and interest the pro promoters, you need to fight big names. No one pays tickets for you to walk all over a journeyman. Like, no one wants to come. And for me, my whole life in boxing, when I sell tickets to my friends, my family, people that have actually come and spent their well-earned money to come watch me box, I want them to turn up and think, Kai might actually lose tonight. Like, I don't want them to turn up and think, oh, he's just going to walk all over a journeyman for 4 rounds, 5 rounds, and then Kai's record's just going to go up again. I want my fans to turn up and think, oh, Kai might actually lose tonight. Like, I want my mum and dad to stand there and go, my son might get knocked out. Because when I win, like, it just makes it even better. Like, do you know what I mean? And Will is that guy on Instagram. Will is that guy in the boxing world at the moment who's not pro. Yeah. But if beating him, that's a big statement.
Yeah. So for the guys that don't know, and I always like to refer to the people, you know, you and I know that you know the fight game and the industry well, but for the guys that don't know, Kai impressively won his last fight, which I was commentating on, and he suddenly called out one of the guys who is known as probably the baddest guy in unlicensed white-collar boxing as a heavyweight, Will All Night Long. That fight has just been made. The date is still yet to be announced, but everyone is running from this guy. He had a knockout reel. He's got a knockout reel that's just disgusting, to be honest with you. He absolutely malfunctioned a couple of his opponents. I mean, one of his knockouts went viral, went on TalkSport, went on ESPN. Lennox Lewis posted it. This guy is feared, and Kai Forder has called him out, and he's gone head on for this guy, and everyone else is running. So you know, massive respect to you for that.
Yeah,
absolutely huge respect. And I love the way you say that you want to fight the best. If you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And I love that mindset. Listen, you're going to be a heavy underdog in this fight.
I know.
How do you see it, though?
The fight?
Well, yeah, what's your mindset? I mean, I think for most people would say you're a heavy underdog in this fight. Are you feeling like an underdog, or have you got that mindset, or are you thinking, actually, people have got this wrong? He ain't on my level. He ain't on my level.
I wouldn't say I'm the underdog. I'd say that obviously Will's done very well for himself, but the fights that I've watched him fight, I feel like the people that get in the ring with him, they're not there to win. Like the boxers that he's fought already and the guys that he's knocked out, they've never been there to win. I feel like they've been there to elevate Will. Whereas this time round, the two fighters that are getting in the ring are both there to elevate like each other. Obviously, he's a hard hitter, but it's the heavyweight game. Like anything can happen in heavyweight boxing. He fought Jasper, the guy that I just knocked out the O2. He fought Jasper before and couldn't get him out of the ring. Went the whole round. Yeah, I put Jasper out in round 3 and he couldn't get up for a 10. So
I was at that fight as well. I think I fought in that fight actually. I fought in that card myself. Yeah, so listen, anyone who's just joining in, sorry Kai for that, but anyone who's joining in, if you fire in your questions and ask the big man anything, I'll be happy to share the questions with him. So it's an interactive, so anything you want to say to him, good questions, no dotting around, but good questions I'll share with him. Let's put him under a bit of pressure. Let's ask him some really good questions. I've got plenty of good questions, but I want to hear your thoughts. And if you don't follow me already, make sure you do follow me. We've got loads of good fighters coming on the show. And I'd love to get Kai. Well, Kai hopefully will be back on before some of these big fights that are coming up. So I'm hoping to work with him regularly and we'll follow his journey throughout. So that'd be fantastic. But my first question to you, and I like to just get you straight on the spot, Kai Forder. The team Will All Night Long fans will say that he's too powerful for you. He's just going to blow you away. What's your response to that?
No one's ever stopped me. No one's ever even put me in a 10 count. I've been hit on the chin by big heavyweights and I've just stood there and firmed it. I've never had a count out. I've never been put down. Not even in sparring I've been put down. I think when I was stood in the ring at the O2 and people looked at me and then looked at Jasper walking out, they probably thought, size of that fella. But how high, like in the ring of that fella in the first place. Yeah. The thing that gets me is like everyone says, "Oh, Kai, like he's massive, he's big." I'm 6'6".
Yeah.
Like I'm not a full guy either. Like
it's not like you're a set of car keys that you can just lose under the sofa, is it? You know, you're a big dude.
But for me, like being the underdog, that makes it even better because if the win does come in, then that just elevates myself even more because people are like, wow, like this kid's something. So, and like you said, like everyone's running away from him, and I don't run away from anybody.
Yeah, full respect for that. You're not running away from. Everyone's running away from Will All Night Long. Everyone's seen the knockouts, you know, and people are intimidated by him. He comes out with a balaclava. He's real sort of gangly. He's got a, awkward style. Unbelievable knockout power. He's a knockout artist, and you've gone head on. So full respect for that. And it's going to be an absolutely exciting clash. Well, another thing that I'd say that the Will All Night Long supporters would say, which I'd like to quiz you on, is they're going to say that you need a bit more shot selection to beat Will and a higher punch output to beat Will. What's your thoughts on that comment, those comments?
I think I've just read a comment very spot on for what I'm going to say. He said, the other fella doesn't have your team though. My team and my coach, Billy, and his dad, Charlie, know the boxing game inside out. I don't know if you've watched the documentary, but when I beat Jasper, every single point that my coach said worked. Yeah, I did watch it. Spin him off on the hook and he'll go over. And that's exactly what he did. And when I've got my coach in my corner, and this fight isn't until like June, July now. So when I've got my coach training me the way he trains me up until now, till July, I know what to do with Will. Will's awkward. He swings. He's a heavy puncher. And it's going to be a tough fight. Probably my toughest fight I've ever had. But with the experience and the knowledge that I've got in my corner and the respect I have for my coach and how much I listen to him, he'll have a game plan by the time it comes when we face Will. He's like, no matter who his boxer's facing, my coach studies that boxer for months. He's on YouTube. We go to live shows. Like, he is studying the opponent 24/7. And if he didn't think I could beat Will, he wouldn't put me in the ring with Will. He wouldn't have allowed me to accept the fight. He would have said, no, Kai. He was like, no, Kai, it's not happening.
Well, that leads me on to my next point. You called Will out
Mm.
and wanted this fight. Why is it not happening straight away next? Why are you fighting someone else next? And why
For
is
me,
he fighting someone else next?
it's the activity. Obviously, Will's a very active fighter, and he jumps on these shows. Like, he might have like 8 shows a year, whereas I only have 4 or 5. And another thing as well, it's all about promoting, and it's all about excelling yourself. Like, why would I fight Will on an undercard at the O2 where there's influencers boxing and people off the telly boxing, and not many people are going to be mentioning our names? Why
Yeah,
would I do that when we could have our own main event and everyone be saying the name Kai Ford and
yeah,
everyone be saying Will all night long? Because we are the 2 big guys, we're the two heavyweights that need to
yeah,
be in mind. So I
yeah.
think
That's a
for
great
me,
answer.
as much as me saying, yeah, I don't want to fight him in February, I want to wait because I want to be more active. I want to have some more fights before Will. Because I feel like Jasper and my fight before that, they didn't test me enough. They sort of walked forward. They were sort of like a moving boxing bag. They didn't really test my chin as much. And I didn't have a lot of sparring on my last fight either. So for me, I fight on this show in February. I'll jump on maybe one more in March, April time. And I'll be ready for Will in the summer.
Yeah, no, that's a brilliant answer. Actually, I thought that might gazump you a little bit, that one, but you've absolutely battered that back, and it makes sense for this fight to be headline. Absolutely, 100%. It makes sense. Yeah, yeah, that absolutely has to happen, and you know, you've already got enough pull between the two of you with your reputation, the support that you guys have. Yeah, you don't need to be, you know, sort of on the backstage for sure.
Exactly.
I would say your fans would say that you've got the cleaner work out of the two of you. I would say they would say the team forwarder will say you've got straight shots, and you're actually very good. From when I've seen, I've commentated on your last fight. You're very good under pressure, actually. You know, when someone comes, that check hook, for example, you know, that's the ultimate boxing move, you know, bull versus matador move, you know, the check hook. And I think you handle aggressive fighters quite well from the fights of yours that I've seen. So, yeah, I'm just saying from the other side of it, that where people say that you're the underdog, he's going to outpunch you, he's going to be too strong, you actually quite thrive under that. Would you say that you're quite good under that kind of pressure?
My whole, obviously, since, obviously, when I started boxing, when I started in the heavyweight game, I was like 19 years old. But because of my height, like I'm 6'6", and when you're in the heavyweight game and you're that height, no matter how young you are, you're
Yeah,
facing guys. Like, you're facing aggressive guys. And I think because of my nature in the past, and like I come across quite, not cocky, but I know how to sell a fight.
yeah.
By the time that person gets in the ring with me, they want to kill me. They want to end me. And then my boxing mind comes into it, and then my coach's boxing mind comes into it, and then we just play the game, and then end up with hands being raised, really.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, it's true though. You know, this is the entertainment business. You know what I mean? This is the bums on seats entertainment business. It's winning, but you want to win good. You want to look good, and you know, the build up to fights is everything. You know, it's absolutely everything. You know. I want to just firstly mention your documentary. I've watched both episodes, absolutely loved it. Guys, again, in the group, if you haven't watched Kai Forder's documentary on his life and his journey, definitely give that a watch. Just whack it, Kai Forder, into YouTube, and both episodes are in there. But yeah, really good. It was a really good watch. I've watched the both of them, and the production was superb. And it's great to see an insight into your camp and your journey into your last fight. But what really struck me was the bond that you have with your coach, Billy Rumble, who's well known in Kent. And, you know, and as you mentioned earlier in this conversation, you know, all the instructions he gave you in your last fight worked to a T. Can you just tell us about the chemistry with Billy?
For me, like, Billy's always been down to a T on one thing, and that's loyalty. If you're loyal towards Billy, he will give you everything. Like, obviously, you mentioned the documentary. I went down a rough stage of mental health. I sacked boxing off. Like, I just went out in a party boy attitude to try and numb myself and get myself away from my bad thoughts. And I didn't go to that boxing gym for 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
So I went from being Mr. Starboy, being the main event guy on all of Billy's shows, all of his unlicensed shows, and Billy and Kai being like this dream duo. And because of my mental health, my mental status, I completely sacked it off. I said in my DKM interview as well with Amelia after the fight that like I owe Billy everything because I disrespected him, I disrespected the gym, but because of the loyalty that I showed within them 5 years before I disrespected him, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this boy another chance. And as soon as I walked into that gym, he put his arm around me and said, listen, we're family here. Like, you're not just a student of mine, you're a brother. And he is a brother. Like, he always has been. And the fact he gave me that second chance now to be still part of his gym and still to look after me, there's no way that I'd ever ruin that.
Yeah. I mean, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. And you seem really unhappy, really happy under his tutelage. Sorry, I missaid that. You seem very happy under his tutelage, and that seems to come out in your performances. And what I'm going to just show you now, I'm just going to show you your last fight. Because throughout the fight, your coach was telling you to throw this shot. And I was on the commentary and I was saying, look, well, I could see you're winning the rounds. You're up. Just stay behind your jab. Don't do anything silly. That's what I was about to. That was what I was about to say. And your coach in the documentary was like, no, throw the check hook, spin off, get out of there. And the way Jasper Brutal Horse was walking in, he's very hands up, both hands up. So I'm holding my phone here. He's had both hands up, and he was just marching forward with no head movement. So it was absolutely perfect. And I wouldn't be doing you justice if I don't show this to people that haven't seen it. Again, most people on here will have. But I'm just going to show you this. And then there's some commentary on there. I wonder who that is. Must be tip-top commentary. Is You gotta say that commentary's spot on, eh? Don't worry about the punch.
Still to this day, man, like that celebration I did, I'm like, why did I shoot a bow and arrow at him when he was on the floor? Like, where did that come from? I've never done it. I was like, what am I?
That's absolutely brilliant. It was like the Adesanya, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's where I got it.
Yeah, that's a good Adesanya. Like, but no one knocks him out like that. You know, I've seen him fight a few times. He's out of Miguel's gym. He's a strong lad, really strong lad. And mate, one shot, one kill, boom. They should call you the gunman. Honestly, it was beautiful. It was.
Someone put in the comments, man like Robin Hood.
Yeah. We've got Will all night long joined. Hey, big up Will. I like Will. And we've got man like Robin Hood from Free Rook. And let's just read a couple of other comments that people enjoyed. I seen someone say, "Why did you do Jasper like that?" AMC. Production was on point. That's from the. That's about the documentary, that the production was on point. But it was absolutely beautiful. As I said, anyone who hasn't seen the documentary, then go see it. So so Billy Rumble. So you've been with him how many years then? So when did you start? When did you start boxing?
So my story.
Start with him?
Yeah, my story into boxing. So I used to play football at quite a high level. So I played for like Fulham Academy, Gillingham Academy, and then I broke my tibia and my fibula in my leg. And then I put on so much weight when I broke my leg. And then obviously when I went back into football, it was never the same. Like I went to go into tackles with people and like I'd pull my leg away because I didn't want to go through that pain and that feeling again.
Yeah.
And then I started boxing just basically to lose weight and for fitness. And then Billy reached out to me on Instagram and was like, you can come down to my gym and see what it's about. And then I'm not gonna lie, ever since I've been to that gym, I didn't even look behind me. Like,
Yeah.
been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's not just my coach. I see him as a family member. I see all of his sons as family members. I see his dad as family members. Like, the whole atmosphere of the gym has just been spot on since day one, which is why obviously our relationship's so strong.
Yeah.
So perfect with each other.
And Snap Fitness also, you started using them for your strength and conditioning. Jack from Snap Fitness. So I know mainly, can you tell us a little bit about, you know, how they sort of play their part in your training camp?
Obviously, I've only started with Jack the last 3 fights. All the fights before then, I never even thought about doing strength and conditioning.
Right.
And funny enough, all my stoppages and all my knockouts have started happening since I've been doing strength and conditioning coaching with Jack. And
that's a coincidence.
I have not.
Who would have thought?
I know.
Yeah, that's good to hear, though.
7. Yeah, I've known Jack since year 7 or 8, like through
quality.
schools and through football.
Yeah.
He was doing strength and conditioning for some of the boxers down at my gym anyway.
Yeah.
I saw the benefit he was doing with them, and I was thinking, do you know what? Like, this kid works hard.
Yeah.
I want to get him a bit more exposure and more platform of what he deserves.
Yeah.
Jack, from day one, I was like, listen, if you train me and we start producing knockouts, then you're with me to the pro ranks. Like, I will never replace you. Like,
yeah,
I want you to elevate. I want you to be as successful as I'm going to be. So
yeah,
he's sort of just been on board since then. And Jack's he's a lovely fella. He's out making a living. He's got his own personal training business.
Yeah.
And that's all about. You just got to support each other.
Do you expect camp to be any different for the Will All Night like long fight?
100%.
It will be a different camp.
Already, like, since my fight at the O2, me and my coach have brought it all the way back down to basics again. So my coach has basically said that, he told me this the last training. He said, I feel like we've rushed you. Like, as much as you have excelled and you've won 8 fights out of 9 and you're getting yourself out there and you're doing yourself well, I felt like he feels like boxing, he rushed me completely.
Yeah.
Now we're really going back down to the basics. We do a pad session. We might not hit the pads many times. We're literally drilling every single punch, every single twist in the hip. We're bringing things back down to basics again so we can perfect the whole of 2024. Right now, I'm not only just in a camp for February. I'm in a camp for March. I'm in a camp for Will. Like, it all starts now. So I'm not going to go, I've got 10 weeks till Will. Let's get into a 10-week camp. We're starting now. We're starting in 2023.
Yeah, life's the camp. Life's the camp. Yeah, I mean, in terms of your conditioning with Will, are you going to be changing that up as well then? That'll stay the same, or are you going to look to try and get fitter, any stronger? Because as I said, like, a lot of team Will All Night Long will feel that he's got the power on you in this fight. No one really knows until we see you both exchange leather. But that's the thoughts of the public, is that, yes, he's going to be strong. He's going to be too strong for you. And that's what's making you the underdog in most people's eyes. Do you feel that you're going to have to work on your conditioning so that you can build punch resistance, or is there any changes that you're going to make?
Obviously, again, going back to the last fight, I've just knocked out the guy that he couldn't get out the ring. Like, I've done damage to Jasper and he couldn't stand up. Like you said, he was a drunk man. He couldn't get back up. So I feel like if people are talking about Will's punch power, then how can you not talk about my own punch power?
Exactly, yeah.
Guy that he couldn't deck.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer. Very interesting, yeah. Yeah, like, it was looking like a drunk man in that club gallery.
That club was that club.
It looked like one of the guys that was in there at the end of the night.
It was a good fight.
Oh no, it was a big knockout, you know, and it was not. I think I posted it was knockout of the night, and I never like to post knockouts of other people getting hurt because it's never great, you know. But it was exquisite. It was an absolutely exquisite knockout. So tell us about your sparring. Do you spar hard all the time, or do you tech spar?
For me, every sparring session should be technical sparring. No one should get into a sparring ring with each other and start killing each other, because you don't
Yeah.
learn. Like, what do you learn from just beating the shit out of each other? You don't.
Yeah.
Like, and for me, like, boxing's a respectful sport. When you
Yeah.
get a ring with someone, especially sparring and training, you need to learn off each other. Otherwise, what have you actually learned? Oh, that you can have a scrap outside a pub with someone for 4 or 5 rounds or 6 rounds. Like, for me, every sparring session should not. Obviously, you need to bring the levels up as you get closer to your fight. But sparring for me is all about learning. Sparring for my coach is all about learning. I feel like with my coach and with my gym, because of how successful he's been as an amateur coach, and he's brought up kids and juniors onto professionals, like, because of the route he's gone down, he's a very amateur-minded coach, as in like
Yeah.
amateur England ABA boxing coach.
Yeah.
And obviously now he's in the pro rank, so even with his unlicensed fighters, he still goes through the same process as the amateurs onto the pros, like he would with his pro boxers.
Yeah.
So every sparring session is just a learning game, really.
Yeah. So I've seen Will all night long sparring Daniel Dubois, and he's getting some really good quality sparring. Does that make you question your own sparring levels?
That just makes winning look even better. It does, like, and fair play to him. Like I said, like when I had the interview with Amelia, like I said, I got massive respect for Will. He's excelling. He's at a point where I want to be, and that's why I need to beat him. Like, that's why I want to share the ring with him, because he is doing well for himself. He's got good links in boxing. But what's Daniel Dubois gonna say when I beat Will all night long in June?
Yeah, I like what you're saying there. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, I think the fact he's getting that quality sparring, he's got the hype train behind him. Will has he has got the hype, but it's justified because he has, he's delivered. He's really delivered, like, one of the knockouts, not just of the year, but one of the knockouts of, like, unlicensed boxing history. You know what I mean? Like, so his hype is justified, I should say. And I did a pound for pound list recently on, like, unlicensed boxing, and I couldn't put you on it. And the only reason I couldn't put you on it, and I couldn't fit you in it, is only because you need to beat Will. Like you said, you need to beat Will.
Listen, like, I've got so much respect for Will. His whole team down at AMC, like, the way they've elevated him and the platform they put him on and the hard work he puts into the gym is something that I admire. But for me to be at that level, and for me to get the coverage that he's getting, and for my name to be in people's mouths, and for Daniel Dubois to be inviting me down for sparring, is for beating Will. I
Exactly. You've got to beat the man. Like you said at the very start of the interview, you've got to beat the man to be the man. And Will's the man at the moment. So, yeah, that's why I couldn't fit you in my pound for pound list. However, God, I had to leave out some ridiculously good fighters. You know what I mean? Like, you can only pick 10. You can only pick 10. Do you know what? I've got a few people jumping in my DMs over my pound for pound, my unlicensed pound for pound list, saying, why am I not on there? And I said, well, who'd you beat?
I've only seen me fight once.
What's that, sorry?
You've only seen me fight once.
Yeah, live. I've only seen you fight one live. I've watched on. I mean, I research everyone that comes on here, and I just watched a little bit of your title fight, I think it was. But I've only been to one live fight of yours, yeah. So, but again, I think I've only seen Will fight live once as well. Well, he fought on a show with me, but I was fighting on it was on Night of Champions 1, so I was fighting on that. So I didn't really was focused on my own thing. So, yeah, I mean, listen, also with unlicensed, you don't get a great background into some of these fighters. Sometimes you can only watch a couple of, you know this, when you fight someone, you get a named opponent, you might only get, like, footage of sparring and one fight to go off of. And half the time, when you fight them, it's never the same as what you've been planning, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, we don't have, like, the full, access to all of the underground fights as it would be. But we do know Will's, he is established, and he has got that, you know, he's a name that you need on your CV, isn't he? Let's face it. We can't.
I think as well as like, as much as people are like thinking, oh, where's Kai's mindset at? I think, I don't know if Will will admit this, but I think he sits there in the gym after a session and thinks, why has this boy called me out? Everyone's run away from me. Like, no one wants to fight me, but all of a sudden this boy's just jumped on the circuit and now he's calling me out. Like, why is he calling me out? So as much as it goes like, as much as people might think I'm the underdog, I think mentally, Will is sitting there thinking, rah, like, this guy's actually called me out for a fight. Because no one else is doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said to him when I, you know, he was on here a few weeks ago, and I said that it must be strange that you've got someone running after you. You've got someone trying to meet you head on. Most people, you know, because of his performances, most people don't want to fight him. He can't get the fights that he perhaps wants. But yeah, you've earned your shot, Kai. And, you know, I think everyone's, like I said, everyone's excited to see the fight. I don't think anyone's thinking it's a mismatch. And I sure, from speaking with Will on the show a few weeks ago, he's not looking at it as a you know, an easy fight that he's just got to turn up and not train and just turn up. I wouldn't say that at all. I would say you're the underdog, but I would say it's an interesting fight because you've got that amateur training, you've got a good coaching team and that amateur training behind you. You're very straight with your shots. You're actually very good from what I've seen of people when they do try to pressure, you know, when pressure fighters come at you, you're very strong in that department and you're very composed as well. So I actually think you've got the tools to make this a really interesting fight. And at your weight, one punch.
Exactly.
One punch. One punch. You can train 12 weeks and in 12 seconds, gone.
Exactly.
You know, yeah. So, you know, it's interesting. I'm not, you know, I'm not for an instance, you know, doing you any disservice that it's going to be, when I say underdog, it's not an easy fight for Will. And I think he knows that. And that's why he's training with Daniel Dubois and upping his game so that he doesn't get beaten. So who have you got anyone in your gym? Any other good fighters that we should watch out for that are on the rise? Is there any?
Yeah, there's a young man called Zach Fee. He's a pro boxer. He's now 3-0, and he just won his first 50-50 on the weekend on a top tier show. Johnny Clark's show production. I think it was live on Sky Sports as well. So he just won his 50-50 on there, and since his performance on the weekend, like, everybody's talking about him in the comments. Like, this kid's got a future. This kid's he's in the right mind of boxing. He knows where he's going. We had another lad called Martin McDonough, who was a very good established pro, but he had difficulties with brain scans and medical. So now he's told I don't think he's boxing anymore. But Zach is someone to be looking out for. There's also a guy called Tyrone King, who's one of our pro boxers as well. Boxes on the same shows as Zach. He's another name to look out for. I think with Billy's fighters, like, again, like, I'll go back to what I said earlier. We all take 50-50 fights. Billy doesn't like just robbing people off their money and putting their fighters in with journeymen. He doesn't like that. He wants 50-50 fights. He wants the big fights, which is why I've called out Will. Yeah. And his knowledge and the way he coaches, he knows that there's a game plan there. Otherwise, he wouldn't let me accept the fight. He wouldn't let Zach.
Will's saying everybody has a plan until they get hit, Kai.
I've been hit before, Will. Don't worry. Focus on yourself.
If this wasn't your interview, I'd get him in here and we'd have a battle. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to save that because I want to do that later. I'd love to have you both on and we'll have a proper debate. You know, that'd be a lovely live debate. Would be fantastic.
I said it in the documentary, like, as much as like this is going to be respectful and professional, like, we still have to sell a fight. Yeah. Like, still have to get the fans talking. We still have to get the tickets selling. And I think I know that. Will knows that. His whole team knows that. But that's just what's got to be done. And at the end of it, when someone does win, then we go out and shake it out and end up sparring each other for the rest of our careers. So
Now I've noticed in your training that you take your recovery quite seriously, and funny enough, I was talking about this with someone the other day. Like, no one like warms down. Like, you know, like who do you know warms down? You know what I mean? I don't think I know anyone in a gym that warms down. Like, and loads of people like train hard like a beast all the time, and they neglect recovery. But recovery is important for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's mentally as well. So like in the boxing game, obviously, I know when you have your fight, some people just jump straight into a camp straight away.
Yeah.
But for me, like, you need that escape from training. You need to go out with your friends. You need to go out to the clubs. You need to be socializing. You need to bring more people into your circle, because then people are going to be buying tickets. And they're coming. They're watching me fight. So
Yeah.
you have to. You can't be. Listen, as much as boxing's a dedicated sport, you can't be that gym 24/7 on tunnel vision with no other things going inside your life, because.
But even things like you know, sitting in hot tubs, or you know, there's now massages. I used to do all of that kind of stuff. You know, not just the partying and the switching off from boxing in between fights. A lot of fighters do that as well. But you look after your body in terms of also recovery as well. You know, you switch off mentally, which is brilliant from the big fights, because you're tuned in. You know, 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 8 weeks, however long camp is. But it's great that I see you, taking your recovery seriously, because, you know, if your body's broken and you're still trying to beat it to the ground, it's never good, I don't think. But I see you hot tubbing and, you know, massering. Have you tried cupping or anything like that? Or is there any secrets you've got for that?
I had two tight shoulders before not the fight with, actually, yeah, it was the fight at the O2. So into my camp, my shots weren't coming off. Like my arms weren't extended enough, so I had cupping done, and it didn't look pretty. I'm not gonna lie, my back looked beat up bad, but it done the job. And obviously that the hot tub in my garden, I'm in there all the time. I love it, man.
Favorite current fighter? Who's that for you?
Bivol.
Ooh, like that.
He just makes everything look so easy, and he doesn't get spoken about enough. And obviously, he's not a heavyweight. He's not a heavyweight at all. But for me, the heavyweight division, they're not doing it for me at the moment. They keep avoiding each other. Whereas people like Bivol, Canelo, can I say Devin Haney? I feel like Devin Haney, I can't put him as my favourite fighter yet, but he's a talent. Like he's a talent big time. But Bivol's probably someone that I study a lot, even though he's not heavyweight. Just the way that he boxes and the way that he moves and the way things look so simple and easy.
Favorite punch?
That checkbook, baby.
Had to be. Had to be. That's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. So guys, put your questions in. Make sure you ask Kai forward some questions. I've got plenty for him. I can go all night, but I want to hear what you guys want to speak to him about. So put your questions in. And as I said, if you haven't followed me already, follow me. I've got the bare knuckle world champion on tomorrow, which is going to be interesting, Kai. I'm going to be speaking with a guy called Connor Tierney, who's a world-class bare knuckle fighter. Would you ever consider doing bare knuckle?
Not a chance, mate. I'm way looking to be doing bare knuckle fights. Fuck that. Fuck that. See, look, someone put, Kai always proves people wrong and loves being the underdog. He'll be the fittest and strongest he's ever been.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, you've been the underdog all your life, mate. So I don't think it would faze you. And I know I'm saying obviously I've watched the documentary. I don't know your life story well, but from the documentary, you've had challenges and you've overcome them. And to be honest with you, when you've got alcohol, you know, things like that, overcoming those challenges, fighting's easy. You know, overcoming some, suicidal thoughts or mental health, or overcoming alcohol or drugs or any of that kind of stuff. I speak with loads of guys that have overcome stuff like that. That's a fighter. That's a fight. It makes what we are fighting quite. I've spoken with people that have overcome cancer, That's a fight, mate. That's a proper fight, you know. And so our fighting, whilst it's not easy, you know, like you've been underdog and you've come out on top many a time. So I don't think it phases you. Not for a second do I think it phases you.
No.
Asher Kelly.
Yeah,
Let's talk about this guy.
Okay. Go on.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you're 7-1. Your record is 8-1. 8-1, and your one is Asher Kelly. Can you tell the fans how that fight came around, how the beef started, and how the fight went?
So
please.
Me and Asher, I must have been 19. He was like 28, 29.
Yeah.
Because of how I was, and cocky, like arrogant boxer, like I called him out, like what I've done with the Will. He had 5 fights. He knocked out every single person that he's fought within round 1 or round 2. So he was just demolishing everybody.
Yeah.
We were in prize champion tournament, which was a quarterfinal, a semi-final, and supposed to face off with each other in the final. So he knocked out 2 of his opponents in the quarters and the semis, and I beat my opponent in the quarters and the semis on the same night.
Oh, wow.
Went to go into the final with him, got a closed eye, an eye socket in the semi-final. The referee put 4 fingers up. I said he had 2 up because I couldn't see. He went, nah, you're not fighting in the final. It's not happening. So Ashley got given the belt. Ashley got given the prize money. It was like a prize champion thing. I was sat in the change room crying like a little baby.
Oh, really? How much papers was it? How much papers were we talking?
2K, 1,500 quid, something like that. And obviously he got his belt as well.
Still alright though. Still a nice little drink, that.
And then the fight obviously had to happen. And then I think 2 years later, we both entered on a show, and it went 6 rounds. So again, Will, this guy's knocked out everybody. Yeah, he couldn't knock me out. We went 6 rounds with each other. He beat me on points. I got 1 point deducted for tying up. Because he was an aggressive fighter, I kept tying him up to like weigh him down, and the referee didn't like it, so he took a point off me. And yeah, everyone thought I could have stopped him in the 3rd round. I had him on the ropes and I gassed out. Like that thought literally goes through my head all the time. Like if you've got someone on the ropes, yeah, you need to finish your job.
Let your hands go, yeah.
But I just gassed. Like I gassed out. I couldn't throw any more punches. I let myself breathe for a bit, and I let him come back. And my coach was like, "What are you doing?" Like and then went to points, and he beat me. But
is that rematch in your mind in the future?
I've asked him to be part of sparring now, and he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then he just hasn't got in contact with me. I don't think he's boxing anymore either. There's quite a big age difference between us. Like I boxed him when I was like 19, 20 years old. Yeah. He was like 28 at the time, 29. Yeah. And also when I fought Asher, I was only 93 kilo. And he was like 98, 100 kilo. I'm sitting.
He didn't have that man strength. Yeah.
I'm sitting like 110 kilo now, so I'm a completely different fighter than what I was against Asher. But fair play, he beat me. Put my hands up. He was probably the better man on the day, and he won the judges over. So yeah.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense, and you learn a lot from the losses, more so than you do the victories. Yeah. So the your mental health journey is something that you've been quite proud to speak about, and you've been really open with, which is really encouraging for men. What has boxing done for you? How can you explain what boxing has done for your mental health?
It's it gives me just an escape route. Like I don't know if you've watched it. Tyson Fury done a documentary with his family, and Paris. Paris, Tyson Fury's wife, keeps telling him to retire, but he knows when he doesn't have a fight coming up, or doesn't have anything to work for, his mental health just goes off the rails. Yeah. So I feel like I'm a bit like that. So if I've not got something to aim for, or something in the future that I need to work towards, I just go out and be a party boy and money and damage my body on drinking good time. Yeah. But for me, like boxing, like my mum said it in the documentary as well, when I've got something to focus on, like all the bad things in my head and all the negativity and my past with what happened in the documentary, my past with my ex missus, like all the bad thoughts that I had going through that stage, And I'll put my hand up. Like, I had times where I was suicidal. I didn't want to be here no more. But boxing gives me that purpose. And I think when I knocked out Jasper at the O2, like, I dropped down to the floor. I didn't drop down to the floor for no reason. Like, that was pure emotion. Like, oh my God, like, within a year, I've gone from sitting in my car, wanting to end my life, to now knocking this giant out at the O2 Arena within like 365 days.
Yeah, that's
like, so all the emotion that I had and all my past and the times where I thought I didn't want to be on this earth anymore. And I felt like I didn't have a purpose anymore. I weren't loved by people and I was hated by a lot of people. To then feel that love after I've knocked someone out of the O2 and hear my fans screaming and shouting my name, see my mum and dad jumping up and down, like that's the reason why I'm here.
Inspirational.
You know what I mean?
And we've got by Joanne Louise. I hope I've said that right. Saying big up to you, sir. And I couldn't have said it any better. Like, massive respect. It's inspirational, that is. You know, you've come a long way, and you know, you're a winner already. You're a winner already. No matter what you go on to do, you're already a winner. So, lastly, have you got a message for Will all night long? Can you look down the camera and tell him what's going to happen in the summer, or anything that you want to say to him?
Just don't underestimate me, Will, because so many people in my life have underestimated me, and it's made them look silly. So just stick to. Listen, I'm not going to tell him how to suck it. He's a good boxer. He knows how to train. He puts the hard work in, but just don't underestimate me, because, and I don't think he will underestimate me. As much as people might say underdog, he's smart enough to think that this geezer's not just calling me out for no reason. Like, this kid actually thinks he can beat me, so I'm not going to underestimate him. And I think if people do think I'm the underdog, that puts a hell of a lot of pressure on Will.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there on all points, actually. He's not underestimating you from when I spoke with him. He's not taking this fight lightly. I don't think he's a professional in his mind. You know, he won't take anyone lightly. And the thing is, he is there to be hunted, because I think as you start winning, people want to beat you. You know, I had Triple M on here. I don't know if you know Triple M, well, you probably do. You know, people want to beat you because you've got belts, and you know, you want to, if you've got an O. Jay Malley was on here, 22-0, unlicensed boxer. Exactly. People want to take him out. You know, they don't want to see anyone 22-0. They want to take him out. So you get a target on your back. So you're doing the hunting, but you beat Will, and you're going to be the hunted. You know, and I think that excites you. From what I sense, that excites you. You want to be the main man. You want to take over. You're not here to take part. You're here to take over. And listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today. If you've got anything you want to say before I let you go, or anyone that you want to thank in terms of your coaching team or whatnot, please.
Obviously, Billy knows how much I love him. I thank him every day for everything he's done for me. I think I want to say a very big thank you and a special thank you to everybody that watched the documentary and the comments that we've had back. Like, my mum got stopped in Asda the other day by another mum who's struggling with her boy, struggling through mental health, and she turned around and said, "My boy's watched the documentary," and like the mum reached out to me on Facebook and spoke to me. So
that's brilliant.
It's making a difference. And obviously, as much as I was vulnerable and I was worried about showing the world my vulnerable times, like, everyone's had a good positive reaction with it. They've took it in and they've realised that, okay, like, fair play. Let's give this boy his crown, really, and thank him for what he's done. So yeah, just thank you for supported me throughout the whole documentary, and we'll get ready for June, my boy.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming on. And listen, this is the first time I'm going to have you on my show, but it's certainly not going to be the last, because you know, I'm a fan. The supporters will want to see your story. Would love it if you can come back on throughout the course of your career. And I definitely would love to have you for all your big fights. So hopefully the first of many, and I'll see you anyway in the new year.
Yeah.
But listen, thanks so much for all your time. You're a brilliant fighter. You're a ferocious fighter. You're a hard hitter. You're a hard worker. I, for one, can't wait to see how the future unfolds for you. And I'm absolutely salivating about this next year that's to come, because it's looking brilliant for you, As I said, you're a winner already. Have a fantastic evening, and thank you so much for joining us on the Gunman Insta Live. I really appreciate it. Thank you,
No
brother.
worries, bro. Thank you for having me. Keep doing what you're doing as well. I love to see it. So thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for supporting the show. I see you always pop on, and you always got good, kind words. And I'm just trying to get people's message out there and give the fighters a platform to talk to their fans.
Yeah.
So fans can understand what it takes to get in the ring and all that goes on behind. Because all we see is you knocking Jasper out with that check hook. That's all we see. That's all the fans see. But they don't see the man that goes through all the struggle to get there, to throw that left hook.
Yeah.
This is what the Gunman Insta Live is all about.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Also, it gives me platform as well, so I appreciate it.
No, it's been great to have you on. Massive respect. I shall see you soon, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and the family.
Thank you, bro.
Take it easy, and I'll see you in the new year.
Thank you, brother. I'll see you soon.
Good man. Take care.